10. The Nebraska Ambush. In 2018, a woman from Nebraska named Melissa Carmago Flores decided to take care of her romantic rival the old-fashioned way. She showed up to her home in Sioux City, Iowa, and stabbed her multiple times in front of the house. When Kenia Alvarez Flores woke up early on that Sunday morning, she had no idea she would be dead by 8 o'clock. Luckily, a witness who saw Melissa commit the attack followed her. The Good Samaritan continued to follow Melissa while on the phone with the police, giving a description of her vehicle and where she was going. This allowed the officers to catch her immediately. Melissa didn't make it far from the crime scene. When the police pulled her over, she still had the bloody knife on the passenger seat and bloody gloves. Sadly, the victim was dead by the time she got to the hospital. The attacker also had to be transported to hospital because she had accidentally stabbed herself in the leg during the vicious assault. But what about the motive? When questioned by the police, Melissa admitted to being in a relationship with Kenia's boyfriend. They were both dating the same guy, but Melissa got tired of sharing and decided to take out the competition once and for all. 9. Attack of the Astronauts. In one of the most shocking love rivalries gone wrong, a NASA astronaut attacked another astronaut at the Orlando International Airport while wearing a trench coat and wig. You just can't make this kind of stuff up. In 2007, Navy Captain Lisa Marie Nowak drove over 12 hours from Houston to Orlando to be there when her love rival's flight landed at 1 o'clock in the morning. Lisa was a mission specialist for NASA, who actually participated in a space shuttle launched the previous July. When police searched her car, they discovered a knife, a BB gun, latex gloves, and diapers. When questioned about the diapers, Lisa said she wore them so she wouldn't have to stop and pee during the drive to the airport. Lisa's rival was Air Force Captain Colleen Shipman. After Colleen's flight arrived, Lisa followed her into the parking lot, doused her with pepper spray, and then tried to get into her car. But obviously, this was an airport and the police were notified immediately. The cops showed up and Lisa was charged with attempted kidnapping. Lisa was angry because she was in a romantic relationship with the same man, Navy Commander William O'Faline, that Colleen was in a relationship with. This is despite the fact that Lisa is married and has 3 children. William is also an astronaut, but he pilots space shuttles. In the end, it seemed like a pretty huge overreaction to finding out the man you're cheating on your husband with is cheating on you with another woman. Lisa also turned out to be the only astronaut to ever have felony charges filed against them. 8. High-speed jealousy. In 2017, Melissa Pestasio, 23 years old, went into a jealous rage and ran her love rival off the road, resulting in a brutal highway accident. Sophie Taylor was left dead and Melissa was thrown in jail, and it was all over a petty love rivalry. These people are all in their 20s. Melissa became angry after her ex-boyfriend Michael, just a year younger than her, started seeing Sophie. She became so angry that she texted everyone she could think of to say how she was going to kill Sophie if it was the last thing she did. She even sent text messages to her ex-boyfriend's sister to inform her of her plans to murder. These texts would turn around to really bite Melissa in the butt. Prosecutor Matthew Cobb described it as a period of hostility, but the hostility never ended. In the Welsh city of Cardiff, Melissa chased Sophie for 3 miles down the highway. She started ramming into the back of Sophie's black BMW, which caused the crash. Sophie's BMW smashed into a wall with such force that the girl's body broke on impact and was dead instantly. The case is currently being rinsed through the court system. Melissa denies all the accusations put against her. But really, there's not much she can do when so much evidence is stacked against her. We're still waiting to see how the trial ends and what kind of sentence Melissa will be handed down, if any. 7. A dangerous love triangle at the zoo. An ex-meerkat keeper at a London zoo has been ordered to pay money in compensation to a monkey handler, whom she attacked viciously in a bizarre love triangle fiasco with a llama keeper. Yes, you heard that right. The meerkat keeper and the monkey handler were love rivals, competing for the guy who takes care of the llamas. Apparently, there's a whole lot more going on behind the scenes at your local zoo than meets the eye. This all happened in the fall of 2015. The woman who took care of the meerkats is named Caroline Westlake. She used a wine glass to try and stab Kate Sanders following an argument over the llama keeper, Adam Davies. According to what came out in court, Caroline became distraught after Adam refused to break things off with Kate. Kate and Adam had been seeing each other for 5 years, but behind her back he started a relationship with Caroline. It turned out to be the biggest mistake of his life. To make things even more bizarre, the assault happened at the staff Christmas party. It was the one time when the 3 animal experts were stuck at the same place. Things got tense, an argument broke out, and Caroline used the wine glass in her hand to strike Kate across the face. Nobody was seriously hurt in the altercation, and Caroline wasn't given any jail time. She was sentenced to instead give the victim over $800 in compensation. What's the wildest, most dramatic thing you've ever seen at a staff Christmas party? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe before the end of the video. 6. Caught in the act. In 2013, Brad Coleman had a love rival and he didn't even know it. He was visiting a friend at their apartment in the community of Auburn when he noticed his wife's car parked at another unit. She wasn't supposed to be there. He didn't know what she was doing there, but he had a pretty good idea. Suddenly furious, hit in the face with the realization that his wife had been cheating on him with another man, Brad found himself a lead pipe. And already you probably know exactly where this is going. Judging by where his wife's car was parked, he figured he knew which apartment she was in. He knocked on the door, and as soon as the lock clicked, he forced his way in. His wife shrieked. The man in the apartment had no idea what was happening, and then he was getting beaten in the head with a lead pipe. Brad stopped the vicious assault before the man was dead, which really worked out in his favor. He turned himself into the authorities, knowing full well he had done something terrible and wasn't going to get away with it. Sheriff Johnson, the one in charge of the case, said he could certainly sympathize with somebody going through something of that nature, but he also said there's a process for these things, and you can't just go clubbing people in the head with pipes. 5. Dropping off the milk. An 18-year-old woman from Ocala was arrested in 2019 after attacking the girlfriend of her baby's father while they were making a milk delivery to her house. According to the Marion County Sheriff's Office, this is what happened. Dantaya Keys was getting some milk dropped off by her ex and her ex's new girlfriend. When she saw them pull up to the curb, she ran out of her house, sprinted to the car, threw the door open, and attacked. The girlfriend was sitting, totally unaware of what was about to happen to her. Suddenly, the door was wrenched open, and Dantaya started unloading punches to her face and head. It took about a minute for the boyfriend to break the skirmish up, and by then the girlfriend was in pretty rough shape. The first deputy who arrived noticed the victim had a bruised left eye, a swollen face, and her forehead and nose were all discolored. When asked why she went so crazy, Dantaya simply said she didn't want the victim near her house. She could have just stayed in her own home and not assaulted somebody, but that's not the way things went. She was transported to the Marion County Jail and charged with battery. That's some serious baby daddy drama. 4. Jealous dentist. Dr. Alika Crew from New Rochelle was indicted for the attempted murder of her love rival in one of the strangest cases involving dentists you've ever heard of. In 2020, Alika was a successful Connecticut dentist. Now she's probably going to spend the rest of her life in jail. According to the indictment, the dentist became aware that her former fiancé had gotten himself a new girlfriend, a woman who had been a professional, upstanding citizen her entire life, had something snap in her brain. She found the new girlfriend, broke into her car, and hid in her back seat. When the woman entered the vehicle, Alika attacked. But this was the first time the dentist had done something so crazy, and she wasn't very good at it. Her victim got out of the car and started running, and Alika gave chase. Here's where things got real. As the new girlfriend was running away, Alika pulled a razor blade and tried to slash her in the neck. But the victim raised her hand, protecting her neck and receiving a slice across her palm. By this time, the neighbors had taken notice that something dramatic was happening. A lot of attention was being brought down on the area, and Alika ran away. Now the dentist is free on bond, but is due to return to the courtroom soon. She'll most likely be charged at the minimum with attempted murder. 3. Christmas Day Chaos. Christmas is one of the deadliest seasons in the U.S. Family, drama, and loneliness. It can be quite sad for some people. On Staten Island last year, one man's Christmas turned to chaos when he was choked to death and his limp body was dumped in the hallway of his love rival's apartment. Rafael Ramos was found unresponsive on the second floor of the apartment complex on Clove Road at 7 in the morning. He was found by the police after residents who had been looking forward to a peaceful Christmas morning called 911. A man with a knife was banging on people's doors. By the time paramedics arrived, Rafael was dead. His killer was one of the tenants in the building, Emmanuel Diaz. The cops found him in his apartment with a woman and a pair of kids. The police investigation revealed both men were involved with the same female. The guy who wound up dead found out about it and decided to end things himself. He showed up to Emmanuel's door with a knife, but it didn't do much good. Rafael jabbed the knife in his face, and Emmanuel disarmed him and strangled him to death. The cops described it as a crime of passion. In the end, Christmas was ruined for everyone. Emmanuel was charged with murder and hauled off to jail. 2. Stolen identity. Yet another woman from Nebraska killed her love rival. This one's name is Shauna Golyar from Omaha. She's been sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for murdering Carrie Farver. But the case has some twists and turns. The Nebraska killer tried to cover her tracks by assuming the other woman's identity on social media. Both women were dating the same man. This was way back in 2012. Shauna had waited outside the apartment of her boyfriend for Carrie to come out. When she did, Shauna stabbed her to death and then took her body and disposed of it in an unknown location. To this day, Carrie's corpse still has not been found. Shauna then assumed Carrie's identity and started sending texts to the woman's family and friends. She was trying to make it look as though Carrie was still alive. She tried to convince her friends and family that she had left her life in Nebraska behind and would be cutting everyone out of her life. She even made a post on Facebook in 2013 that literally said, "I'm not missing. I just don't want to come home right now." Perhaps the most shocking part is just how long this ruse worked. Shauna didn't get charged with murder until 2017, and even though the police had enough evidence to convict her, they still don't have a body. She refuses to give up the location of Carrie's body, which by now is probably nothing but a skeleton. 1. Trouble on the border. In 2007, a San Diego Border Patrol agent was so upset that he got dumped by his girlfriend for another man that he did something he really shouldn't have. Jaime Cesar Quiroz, a resident of Santa Ana, has been charged with first-degree burglary, aggravated assault, and aggravated trespassing. He's now facing up to 8 years in prison, and it's all because he couldn't stand being the loser of a love rivalry he had never wanted in the first place. The authorities haven't released the name of the woman involved, but we do know she and the accused dated for 8 years. But 5 months before the attack, she broke things off. She then turned from the border agent to an actual police officer. Enraged and jealous, Jaime began a campaign of harassment against them. He would call her, he would pester her new boyfriend, and he would even show up at her house unexpectedly. On September 16th, she woke up to find him sitting in her living room. She was so disturbed and scared for her life that she left the house. The next night, she made sure that her boyfriend slept over. By late in the evening, as they were lying in bed, Jaime broke in like a mad bull and attacked. The girlfriend managed to get away and called the police, while Jaime viciously assaulted the Santa Ana police officer. He then ran out of the house and tried to hide in the neighbor's place. It didn't work. The police surrounded the house, and he was forced to give himself up. What's the farthest you've ever gone to get rid of a love rival? Let us know your stories in the comments, and be sure to hit subscribe before you go. Thanks for watching today, and we'll see you again soon for another awesome video. Bye!